the problem with the type of counterinsurgency work that we were doing is that it wasn't well understood and it came in too late during the war. The orders from the military hierarchy, namely ComOps, was that each man had to be trained on 80 rounds, and these were per man, and this just wasn't going to cut it. These were people that needed to learn marksmanship and combat action drills, and I thought that we needed about 1,500 rounds per man for that. So I was actually at Special Forces HQ when I was getting my orders. The chief sat next to me. The major from Special Forces, who were responsible for the ordnances for the operation, sat opposite me. And when he told me that it was 80 rounds per man, I was about to get up and walk out. And I felt this foot on my, pressing down on mine, and obviously it was the chief who was telling me to shut up, because which I did. And not long after that, the major went out and he said to me, if I give you the information of where the ammunition is being located or distributed to different police stations, I'll give you the date and the amount. Would you be able to use your SAS ways of relieving them of that information and using the ammunition for your own people? And I said, there's no problem at all. We'll sort that out. So I worked with them. It was quite an interesting situation, because it's not that easy to rob a police station, and I had to rob quite a few of them to get the quantity of ammunition we needed. It wasn't rob, it was steal. The difference between robbing and stealing. Robbers, when you come along with some kind of armed intervention and take over the police station, whereas stealing, you do it in a passive way. You had to persuade them that it was the right thing to do to open up the armory and give us all the ammunition. Now, that took some doing. It's quite hilarious how we actually pulled that off, and it worked all the time. We stopped at 1,500 rounds per man, and then I needed the weapons to fire that would use this particular type of ammunition, and the weapons were the AKs. We were 40 AKs short, and the chief said to me, "Watch this." He said, "You come with me. I'll show you how Special Branch works." And we drove to a particular police station that probably should remain nameless at this stage. And on the way there, he said to me, "I'll show you that everybody has a price." And I thought to myself, well, I haven't got a price, so what are you talking about? So he said, "You watch." He said, "Now what we do is we set somebody up. We might introduce him to a good-looking female, a married man to a good-looking female, and over some drinks, and the next thing is they book a hotel room, and we conveniently pick up the signing in sheet, the booking form, and later on, in a year or two's time, when we need something from him, we arrive waving the sheets in the air for everybody to see and saying, 'Can you remember that we actually need your help over here, otherwise everybody will know.' So that's a passive way of getting somebody to work for you by using sex. There are other ways, like this particular station we were going to get the 40 AKs. That superintendent running that station had been given a Citroen DS20 for his personal use, completely free of charge, with fuel and servicing and everything else thrown in, and at no cost. And his economic unit at home adjusted to that, and eventually he couldn't do without it. And that is when we needed the 48Ks. And the chief said, come with me, and we walked straight up the stairs, past this guy's secretary, opened the door and walked in, and you could see the superintendent sitting up quite amazed at this, and then the chief said to him, hi, how's it? Had the car serviced lately? And of course he trigged on straight away that this was not about the car, this was about losing the car if he didn't produce the 48Ks. And that whole encounter is in the book as well. Absolutely hilarious from my point of view, not from anybody else's who was in the office at the time. And so we got our 48Ks the next day.